You know, when I first heard about SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, I first thought that the person who told me was saying sudden instant death syndrome. And I was thinking to myself, that sounds like a horrible disease, you know? That sounds like something terrible. And the awful thing about that is that you would never be able to see it coming. It would be sudden, and then you would be dead. And then that would be the end of your life. You just died suddenly. For no reason, honestly, for no reason at all. And I only found out later that what they were saying was sudden infant death syndrome. And that's like when a child like rolls over on his back or whatever and then suffocates himself between the wall and the side of his crib. And then you start crying. And then you go to court, and people call you Casey Anthony, and they think that you're just out to party, and that you neglected your child for whatever reason because you wanted to party, but the child was keeping you at home, and you didn't have the like emotional connection to a father figure for the child. So it was just you raising it full time, and your mother offered to babysit it, but she wasn't available on the day you wanted to go out. So you just said that your baby got sudden infant death syndrome, and then that was the end of it. And then you went to court on national TV, and then everybody hated you for a million years. That's a lot of years to hate one person, but some people deserve to be hated for that long. So, anyways, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense to hate somebody who kills babies or whatever. I'm done talking about dead babies. That's a little too macabre for my show. So let's talk about something a little nicer. Hiroshima's a nice place, I hear. There's been a lot of earthquakes going on lately on that side of the world, that side of the country, the Pacific Ring of Fire area. There's been a lot of earthquakes shaking up California and Japan, and one of Japan's islands is actually split in half or something like that. I don't know the exact story behind it or how exactly an island can split in half, like what happens when they split apart. Islands don't just drift apart like that. That's crazy. I would never believe that something like this could happen in my lifetime. But it turns out that it can, and that it does, and that we should be more concerned about the geological activities of our globe that we live on with our toes and our feet, and we go underneath blankets and get warm, but then we shield ourselves from the outside world because it's big and scary and dark, and you just want to curl up with a nice book by M.P. Hauser or something like that, and drink hot cocoa, and then listen to Beck. You know, Beck, he sings that song about how there isn't any rest for the wicked. That might not be Beck. That's probably not Beck. I don't actually know if that's Beck or not. So, yeah, feel free to correct me. Otherwise, I'll just keep thinking incorrect things. You know that song. That's a good song. That song basically talks about how people who are down on the luck and they're poor and they have nowhere else to turn to a life of crime, deception, stealing, thieving, murder. If it were to come to that, I don't think it should ever have to come to that, but sometimes it does because maybe the victim is being non-cooperative and you just want to take his money and he doesn't want to give you his money, but then he winds up dying and then you can't get his money because it's all on his ATM card. You don't know his PIN number. You go to the ATM and you guess like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you guess 2, 3, 4, 5. Like you think it would make it that easy. Then you look at his license plate and his not license plate, his driver's license, and it says that his birthday is on October 17th, so you try 10/17, and that's still not the birthday, the PIN number. And then you're like, screw this, and then you leave the bank card on the ATM machine, and for whatever reason, you thought that was a good idea, but then the ATM, as you probably know, has a camera installed inside of it, and then the police look at the camera and see that the person who was trying to use the bank card isn't the person who was issued to, and then they come and find you and arrest you, and then you have to spend the rest of your life in a federal prison or something because I guess that's against the law as grand theft larceny. You don't want to steal money from people, or larceny. Is it larceny? Yeah, embezzlement? I don't know. It's one of those things. No, it's not embezzlement. Embezzlement is when you take money from a company that you work for under the guise of maybe trying to benefit the company somehow. I don't know, like charities. I don't know how any of that stuff works. It's all lawyer speak to me. I don't like to listen to what the lawyers say. They don't ever have anything nice to tell me. They always tell me, Mr. SparkleDart, it's kind of your fault that you parked on the grass at the ballpark or whatever. It's kind of your fault that you decided to burn the volleyball net because you were tired of hearing the volleyball thumping back and forth. at all hours of the afternoon because you sleep in the afternoon, and then there's a park right next to your house that's got a volleyball court, and you have to listen to that like 5 hours or 5 times a week, Monday through Friday, and then on the Saturday and Sunday of the week you just get so drunk that you phase it all out and whatever. And then you burn their net down, and you think that that's an appropriate solution, but little did you know that you did it in the middle of the day when everybody was there and they could see you do it. And then the people at the park know you because you live near the park. You walk through there, sometimes talking to the old people, feeding bread to geese and whatever, because geese are mean and they will peck you if you don't give them bread. So, is that really what you want to do? Is that really how you want to live your life? I'm not trying to coax you into any particular answer. I just want to know if you're satisfied with where you are, because I don't think you should be. I think you should strive for more, and if you're not going to strive for more, then at least don't take your anger, your issues out on other people. That's really what it comes down to, is just being a nicer person than you are now. Now, so wildlife, ANWA, Alaska National Wildlife Reserve. I think that's a really good organization. They've been protecting wildlife. You know, we've been losing a lot of wildlife, like bees and stuff, and tigers, and they just kind of disappear over time. And we have to hold on to our national resources. I hear tigers are delicious, so if we want to like keep tigers around and keep them as like pets and stuff, I guess you can do that. But if you want to like form a tiger zoo like they have alligator zoos, because tigers and alligators, they both function the same way, so you can just keep them in like a large open pit area with water in there, and then they'll just like swim around, and then you can pick a tiger when he's ripe, and then get him packaged up into little brown baggies and take him home, put it in the freezer, and then eat it throughout the week when you take your 12-bean chili to work the next day. And everybody at work is like, wow, that's really delicious. Do you have any sort of meat to pair this with? Or what sort of meat did you put in this chili? You'll tell them that it was tiger meat. They won't believe you. They'll think you're joking. They'll be like, I don't believe that it's tiger meat, of course, but it doesn't taste like anything that I've ever had before. So is it like, what is it, like venison, or one of those fancy like Angus steaks or something? Because Angus steak is expensive, and it's not something that everybody eats because not everybody has expensive tastes, or whatever. That's not really my point. My point is that if you're going to do something like that, you're going to eat tiger meat. You don't want to tell people about that because tigers are endangered, and if you want to consume their flesh, then you can't really let people know that you're doing that, because they will turn you into whichever, the UN or something. I don't know what department of the fucking world deals with endangered wildlife being consumed and hunted. Probably varies on a country by country basis. Like down in Africa, they'll cut off elephant tusks or whatever. This is kind of a sad episode. I think I'm gonna pick it up. What do I like to talk about? Marshmallows. Okay, so I got a good marshmallow story. I went down to the store one time because I needed to get some marshmallows, since I had already prepared like a bunch of hot cocoa, only to realize that I didn't have any marshmallows. And then it was like, well, how do you make hot cocoa better? Of course you need marshmallows, and that's how they do it. Even though when you get those prepackaged Swiss Miss marshmallow, they always have like those little tiny marshmallows inside of them that all evaporate whenever you make the hot cocoa in the microwave. But then you have some that you can get that have them packaged separately from one another, and then you can add in the marshmallows after you've already made the hot cocoa, and then they don't evaporate as fast, but they will still evaporate because it's very hot, and hot cocoa will evaporate those marshmallows. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. Was that really a story? I don't know if that was a story. I think that was more just a thing. That was more of a fact. So take that fact, internalize it any way you want to, and then just kind of, run with it. Make it your own. Now, I think I've been a little bit more rambly during this particular game than I usually am, and I'll tell you why that is. It's because, like I said a couple of episodes ago, I am kind of sick right now. I do my sessions on Sundays, and when I do my sessions, I'm usually in a peppy mood, and I like to unwind, relax with some Pabst Blue Ribbon, of course. That's my drink of choice. But today I haven't been drinking anything, and I'll tell you why that is. It's because I'm sick and I've been taking like NyQuil and stuff like that, and I thought maybe NyQuil would help me, but it turns out it just makes my mouth dry. So it's this whole big like cumulative effect. Things just keep on happening to me that I have to deal with, and I can't deal with them because I'm a weak person. That's just what it comes down to, right? People think that I'm a weak person, and because of that they are going to judge me. I think that's a little bit rude to judge a sick person for having to falter on his promises, and If you want to judge a sick person for being sick, I guess that's your own prerogative. Obviously, since I'm sick, I shouldn't be going out. And if I was going out and people were saying, well, you're disgusting, why are you, like, walking out and about in public? I think you shouldn't be doing that, because honestly, that's a little bit much, in my opinion, is you're going to get people sick. They're going to be, like, taking their baby away from you, and then you're going to be like, why are these people, like, snatching their babies when I walk past them and hiding them behind their backs? And you'll think maybe they think you're some sort of, like, child molester or something, like Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that episode when everybody thought he was a child molester or something like that. Maybe there's a poster that one of your friends is playing a prank downtown. They put a poster of your face on the wall, said, beware of this man, he will touch a child. And then you got to go down, take that poster down, but then there's more of them around the corner. Your friend was watching this location, and then he put up another poster when you took it down, and then it was like a joke to him, but then you actually wound up getting arrested for it, and it was like, this isn't funny anymore. It stopped being funny like a week ago, and you keep doing it. The same joke isn't funny for this long. And they'll say, I disagree. I think the same joke can be funny for a very long amount of time. And then that's just kind of how your life is going to be now, is people are going to be playing these sorts of horrible pranks on you, and you just have to accept it. You know, you have to accept that your friends think that you're crazy. Crazy enough to pull horrible... You know, I guess I can't really talk too much. I had a phase one time where I would do stuff like that. Like I printed off a bunch of pictures of a tarantula, and then I said, wanted missing pet. His name is Gary. He responds to Gare. He is very venomous, so exercise caution when handling him, and call this number if you find him. I wanted to freak people out by thinking that there was a giant tarantula on the loose, but I never wound up doing that because I'm like, first of all, this is mean. Second of all, it's stupid. And third of all, I'm very lazy and I don't want to have to go out and deal with that, because that sounds like a lot of work for very little payoff, because I would never be able to see the reaction of other people's faces when they think that there's a giant tarantula on the loose and they like start locking the doors, and a tarantula can't get into your house some other way, like crawling into your vents or whatever. And that's just kind of how things go. I think that's kind of how these things turn out usually. Is that they just wind up not being as funny as you hope that they would be. But anyways, I digress. I think it's about time to end this episode, so if you want to come back again soon, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm not going to tell you no, but I'm also not going to tell you yes. So live with that ambiguity, and then come back another time, and then we can have hot cocoa and talk about our mothers-in-law. So thank you for watching SparkleDart. Goodbye. Mwah.